of the weather. But in today's live stream, we're going to be doing some forging and some woodworking in order to get this finished. Now, this is the forge part of the mobile smithy. So the forge is basically the heart of a smithy. That's why people always call a forge or a smithy, the forge. It's not. It's a smithy. But I have 2 shows coming up where I need to have a mobile smithy, and to have a mobile smithy, you need a mobile forge. The first show I did this year was the Arts on Fire event down at the Scranton Iron Furnaces, and that was a huge success for me. However, the forge and the bellows kind of took a bit of a beating. And the bellows I made were too floppy and flimsy. I tried making something super lightweight so that it would be easy to transport and everything else, and it ended up being way too lightweight. And so it kind of started falling apart halfway through the show. I'm trying to avoid that problem altogether. So this time I made the bellows out of 3/4 plywood. I salvaged the flappers from the first one because they were still good. But everything else I built from scratch. And there's pictures and stuff that are going to be on the Facebook page, yada, yada, yada. Anyways, my idea is to help eliminate all the vibrations and all the weirdness that plagued the last one, is I'm going to be building it all into one unit. Now, it's upside down right now because I need to mount some legs. So I think what I'm going to do is mount some slip legs, so this will be easy to get in and out of shows and stuff. So how I'm going to do that is I'm going to actually forge like two little brackets for the front that can sit inside here, so that when I get to the show, I can easily just slip those right in, and maybe get like a little wedge or a pin or something, drilled in there, so I can just slip it in, pop, 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 and flip it over. For the back, I'm not sure what I'm going to do, because if you can see, there's no space where the bellows are. But one problem at a time, right? And Rakish said hi, and Adam Levin said hi. Hello, guys. So I think what we're going to do is going to start up the Good Garage. Thanks. It is a shithouse in here. But so we'll start up the solid fuel forge, because I'm not going to need consistent heat like I would with the gas forge, and forge out those 2 fittings, and we'll see how things go from there. So let's move it over here. And of course, I'm dropping everything everywhere. Now, these really only have to be made out of 1/8. So that's what we're going to. There's already a message held for review. Where am I from? I am from Northeast Pennsylvania. And you showed something, but I don't know if I should show that or not, because it's just weird. Which state? Pennsylvania. And someone is very upset. Why are you so upset? I said hello, Rakish. Magar. I don't know what Rakish is. And Rakish, you want to start like telling people why you're upset? Pennsylvania. I like that name. It's an okay state. Could be better. Could be much worse. And okay, Rakish, guess what? You are getting put in timeout. 24 hours, because you're not worth the stress of all those middle fingers and everything else. You can go away. And Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, and all that jazz. Now let's get this started. all the little charcoal over here. I think we're going to use charcoal today instead of coal, just because we don't need a continuous blast of heat. All that in there. Tomorrow is your exams. How is Christmas celebration going? It's going all right. Just trying to get all my stuff together for a couple shows I'm doing. Hopefully I'll have enough money then to be able to afford some Christmas presents for some people. At least what I can't forge in and of itself. How is yours going? And Selectrovert. Ooh, I like that name. You have hair fall. Yes, I have lots of hair. I grow it out and then donate it. And tomorrow is your exams. What exams are you studying for? Coolest Grammy in town said hi. Oh, hello, I guess you're the coolest Grammy in town. And cool adage. Bro, I feel like I work very hard but get nothing. Same. Let's get that over there. Some more charcoal on here. Because I also want to forge out a handle for the front. So that will require a little bit of heat as well. Let's get this started. Cool dude, I like your beard. Thanks. Where do you live, by the way? Northeast Pennsylvania. And greetings from Iraq. Well, thank you, Zen on Harmonics. May Allah give you joy and strength. Stay strong in faith and praise the Almighty. Allahu Akbar, and I don't know what that last word is. Alam Dulia? Something like that? I'm not sure what that is. And VATS. Hello, sir. I only have 2 months left for JEE mains, and my whole chemistry is left. How should I study? Dutifully. It depends on your learning style, to be honest. I always learned better when I could apply something practically to my thinking and stuff. And chemistry is hard to do that with. I'm decent with chemistry until the point of organic chemistry, because then it just leaves my brain. So it depends on how you study. And Pennsylvania. Can you sing? I'm a big booty girl living in a big booty world. I can when my voice isn't going to hell in a handbasket. And you could probably hear the sickness in my voice. I'm just starting to get over this whole upper respiratory, like post-nasal drip thing, and it's really taking a toll on my body. And being out in the cold is not helping too much. But I like big booty girls, so. That's always a plus. Okay, so for the first part of this, we are going to try and forge those brackets. And this will be mostly just, bending steel, but it'll be a little bit easier once, everything is warm. And Alan McGee, love it, get well soon, happy holidays. Happy holidays, man. Celebrate everything because life is short. So what we'll do is I have this 1/8" bar here, 1/8" by 1.5 inches. So I'm gonna make some stuff out of this. Do you see Forge on Fire? Yes, I do. We're gonna make some the two front slip brackets out of this, and maybe the handle too for the front. I think if I take this and curl it, it'll be a lot more comfortable on the hand. I want to put a handle in the front to help facilitate moving it around and stuff, especially loading and unloading from the car. Is this job high earning? It can be. It's very hit or miss though, so it's not consistently high earning. Some jobs I'll get are like, some things I sell are like $5, some are hundreds of dollars, some are thousands of dollars. All right, so I need to get a scrap of 2x4. Make things easy to form it around. And then I'll hot wax everything too, just to help, keep it, protected. So if I want it to be like that, I'm going to need it to come in like this, over, down, and out. So basically it has to be a Z. I could form that cold, but just as easy to do it hot. And this end is a little deformed from what I was doing last week. So let's get that straightened out just a little bit. And collaboration of curiosities. Good day, and good day to you. Make this a little bit easier here. Straighten this out. So let me do about, what do you figure, about 2 inches? Sounds like Minecraft. Sometimes it is. Sometimes it does. Actually, since I'm going to be doing most of this, with this part here, cold, let me just use the tools I have. Do what? Inch. Let's just do 2 inches. Keep things easy, right? And I'm going to grab my other hammer because it's a hell of a lot easier to do this with the proper equipment and tools, right? Right. right, there's the first bend. Like I said, I want this to be kind of slip on. So this one needs to bend this way. Let's see. Are you live from Minecraft? Nah, not quite. It's this way. Oops. Yahtzee. First two bends. Fumble. Yeah, pretty much. Let's get this straightened out here. All right. Not terrible. Now this last one has to come up this way. All right. And let's see. Awesomeness. So cool to see an awesome craft. Well, thank you. Thank you. Okay, bye. Nice to meet you. I'll be back tomorrow and we'll have some time to chit chat. Well, I won't. At least probably not. And what are you making there, bud? Well, I'm making some brackets for a mobile forge. And BMW said hi. Hello, BMW person. All right, so then this one has to bend this way, and that's the first bracket. Alright. That should fit on there. Like that. And what do I do for a living? Well, I'm a blacksmith, woodworker, leather worker, and I'm an architectural draftsman. So I do a little bit of all of that. Now let's get this nice and heated up again. Then we'll cut it. And we'll punch the holes because 1/8 inches, well, too much for me to, no, I can drill that. It's not that big a deal. So what do you guys do? Do you guys have any hobbies or anything, or like? And where's everybody from? And Dude Loria, good day, how do? I do well. Tell something about your education or how you learned this skill. Well, this skill I learned, mostly self-taught, to be honest. I wanted a knife to go camping. My dad said no, so I said, okay, I'll make it myself. So then I just started doing shit. And when I found I had an inadequacy, I went to the internet and found forums, or I went to the library, found books, and just started doing stuff. Not hot in the right place. Not yet. We're getting there. Actually, while we have that heated up, let's just go fix this a little bit here. That looks better. Let's see. Your family members are also pursuing the same profession? Nope, none of them. I'm really the only maker. I've heard that people in the States don't know much about whales. I mean, I'd say I know more than average, but it's not that much. Or are they doing something else? Everyone in my family does something completely different. I'm the only maker, really. My dad does some woodworking, making activities, but not really. He does mostly like home repair and small stuff. I'm the only one who really builds as a profession. And that's both in my own business and in my professional day job. Do I follow Jesus? Why would I? Have you ever smithed the sword? Many. If you're trying to do that whole religion thing on me, buddy, you're barking up the wrong tree. Let's get this cut. That's good. Warm that up again. Make it easy to split off. And what's his handle on YouTube? How do you think you would fare in that smithing TV show? I don't know. They do a lot of forge welding, and I'm not the best at forge welding, so. But smithing something just by itself, pretty good, actually, I think. All right. That piece should be nice and easy to snap off now. There we go. And we can cool that down real quick. And we're going to worry about getting these nice and good later. So I need this, and I need the stuff here. So what we do for the first bend, 2 inches, 2 inches again. Still warm. Easier to match things. Where am I from? I'm from Northeast Pennsylvania. I think in the dungeon. Yeah, not too far off. They use a lot of machines to speed up the process. A lot of people do. Yep. I wish I had a power hammer. I, as of yet, do not. In a dungeon. Yeah, that's basically where I'm at right now. Okay. And then, where's that piece of 2x4? So I got that. Just straighten this out a little bit. Straight enough. And where did that soapstone go? There it is. From Philadelphia myself, I enjoy watching other people do good work and to learn while I'm watching. That is awesome. All right. Should be the last bend for these pieces. Cool. All right, let's get this last piece, hot, cut it off, and then we'll get these pieces waxed, mounted, and move on to the next job. It's always easier to cut things hot. Bending thin stock like this, 1/8 inch. For everyone who's not American, it's 3 millimeters, give or take. 2.5 millimeters, 3 millimeters, somewhere in there. It's easier just to get it hot, to cut it with a chisel. And that's about 2 inches there. All right, let's get that back in the fire. We can snap that off nice and easy. Which is funny, stuff like this is exactly what they want me doing at the show. And if you want to see this, I'm not going to be able to finish this, obviously, all in 1 hour, everything I'm trying to do here. So if you want to see the end results in person, go down to either Eckley's Mining Village next weekend. They're putting on a show, whole winter festival type thing. And I'm going to be out there forging in the weather. Or the week after on Sunday, there's a hair salon in Clark Summit called Curl Up and Dye. I'm going to be out there with the mobile smithy as well. Selling things and making things, and hopefully to earn some money to give my youngling a good Christmas. And Toli said hi. Ala Bakish said hi. And Handy Life USA said hi. Well, hello, guys. Welcome to the show. And Angler Ruck, you're really struggling to get off to this. Should I show a little bit more spin then? That helping? What can I do to make your life a little bit easier? Story, bro. What story do you want to hear? There we go. All right, before I do the handle, I want to drill, wax, and mount these pieces. So where's my drill? There, it's over there. Now, what you making? Right now I'm making some slip brackets for my mobile forge that I'm building over there, so that I can get some legs on them. Now, I had a mobile smithy before, but there was a lot of issues with it. Namely, the bellows I made them super lightweight so they'd be easy to transport, and they were, but they didn't work well. So I've upgraded everything that needed upgrading. The fire part worked really nicely, but everything else was pretty substandard. So holes done in that one. I'm going to widen the holes in a second, but it's easier to drill 1/8 inch holes and then step up to a higher size than it is to just start with whatever size you want to do. And I'm not really worried about fit and finish on these pieces, just because they're going to be hidden. They're just brackets to accept 2x4s. I don't care that much. Candy cane. I got a candy cane for you. Okay, so we got those drilled out. Ooh la la. Oh, you know it. Let's get a bigger drill bit here. Drill these out a little bit bigger because I don't want to use my standard screws on these because I don't have them short. The longest I have are 1 3/4 inch. or the shortest I have are 1.75 inches. So let's take you guys over here. And for those of you just joining in, I am rebuilding the mobile smithy. Here's the forge part of the smithy that I'm building, or rebuilding rather. Where was that built? But it was right here yesterday. And I do have a lot going on today, so I will not be here. Should be big enough, but what size is that? Doesn't matter. That's big enough. Don't make me say hi. Why shouldn't I? Say it. Because I want to use these screws here, which are significantly shorter than my shortest screws. And having the hole a little bit bigger than the shank will allow the brackets some wiggle room, just because these are just slip brackets. They don't need to be perfect, you know? So we're just going to keep you guys over there for a couple minutes. And this is that one that sticks. It's got a magnet on the bottom. Very good for most things. Most of the time, but when you try and do stuff in a hurry, not quite so much. That one's ready for wax. Next. We're going to heat these guys up real quick. No, I have no idea what you're talking about there, Miss Jennifer. All right. A little waxed on this. All right, we're going to let that one cool off right there. Grab the next one. So, who is going to come to one of my shows over the next couple weekends? 1, 2. Whew, still warm. Still a little too warm for my liking. Now, I probably could have done these brackets out of like, I don't know, 16 gauge or something. But I had a nice bar of 1/8. That's a pretty good size already. And I very much like the path of least resistance. Organized, not even close. I have chaos. None of it's organized. What the fuck you doing, boy? Knowledge. I'm working on a mobile forge. What are you doing? And what is this? Looks like an Avenger technician. Oh. Kind of. I'm working on a mobile smithy. I need to do the mobile forge part of the mobile smithy because, well, the workbench and the anvil stand are still good from when I did the show. The forge and the bellows are not. So that's what we're fixing. At least, allegedly. Get those. Need this. Now, I think that should go on there pretty close to the top. Like that. See the idea? Of course you do, because you're smart. All right, let me just grab another scrap of 2x4 here. Do that. Do that. We'll start it right there. Let me grab a clamp too. Now, I could have done this with like a countersink or something, but I really don't care all that much because these are all hidden pieces. So I'm not going to worry about doing things pretty when I'm in a rush. Goes in and out nice. I mean, there's still a little wiggle room, but that's fine. There we go with that. A little hard to get in, a little hard to take out. Very little wiggle. Perfect bracket. This is exactly what I want. Let's see, that one sounded chewy. Yeah, a little bit. I'm still getting over an upper respiratory thing. And Wally Winker. I have a jar of Nutella and it's nearly empty. I don't want to get my hand sticky, but a spoon is too finite in edge. What would you recommend I do, Sunshine? Easy. Get a spatula. And am I going to live stream the event? No, because at the mining village, there's not really any internet, like, at all. And the one in Clark Summit, I'll probably live stream for a little bit while I'm setting up, because that one doesn't start till later in the day. And how old am I? I'm 37. That's one bracket done. Beautiful. Time to do the second. 2, 4. There's the bracket right there. That. Oh, this one's a little crooked. It's not going to be nice. It's not going to play nice. That's fine. One's a little too tight. Let's adjust it just a little bit. This one. 2. All right. And what are we building today, brother? Are those NICADs? No. I'm working on building a mobile smithy, or rebuilding it. And today is the mobile forge portion of it. Little bits. You're probably going to hit 35 and die from obesity. Oh, boy. Yeah, I don't really even like Nutella that much, so. And I know what this guy was trying to ask me. He wanted me to say, well, why don't you just use your private parts or use a finger? And I'm not going to do that. And you want a straightener? Not really. I got it figured. Just need to tweak this a little bit there. Now for the back, I'm not sure what I'm going to do. Like, this part's easy. because I can just make these brackets, bing, bang, boom, done. For the back, I'm not sure. I might have to have external legs. I don't want external legs, but I might have to have them. Man, I was watching a fella's friend in the shed used a monkey wrench as a board bender. Yeah, those do work really well, don't they? You could also there's a ton of little tricks like that. You could even use framing hammers if you put the nails in the right way to really wrench on something and get things kind of straightened out. Okay, but the front is done, and we still have a little bit of time. So what I think I'm going to do is actually make the paddle puller. So on the back of on this whole thing's upside down. So this thing needs to get pulled up by a lever. You see in the background, you can see that lever kind of up there that pulls the bottom of my bottom bellows up. And Jen, I just went swimming. Well, good for you. So I need to get a hardwood. I need to get that glued and screwed to that. So let's see what we have in stock. And I believe this is a piece of cherry that I have. That should do pretty nicely. Let me see if there's anything else, though, because this is a very nice board of cherry. And Jen, in your eyes, candy cane, I'm sure. Glued and screwed, story of my life, right? Let's see. What do I have over here? I mean, I always have oak on the other side of the shop. There's a piece of cedar that's not going to be strong enough. There's a piece of, it looks like walnut, but I don't think it is. That's a piece of pine, definitely not strong enough. There's a piece of pine. You know what? I'm going to go with screw it. So I only need this to be a few inches wide, just because it just needs to be a thing to hook the string onto, or a cable, or whatever I'm going to end up using. So let's math this out a little bit here. It'd help if I knew what my tape measure was. And we could just use this one. It's a little burnt, but it still works. Let's go over there. Don't even know where my other little doohickey went. That's fine. So okay, mount that right there. I like the width of that. That ends kind of right here. So really, I only need like 3 or 4 inches past that. Let's cut this at 5. And then my square's over there somewhere. Oh, so this is 6-inch board. Slightly more, but that's close enough. Got that there. And then we can bring that over there. All right. Now, where's my square? I could freehand this, but or would I if I have all the tools ready for it, right? Okay, let's take this. Let's go in. How far? That's where I'm going to drill the hole. And then let's do an inch of either side of that. And that's where we'll start. We'll do the 45s. Do that. We'll do that. And message retracted. Okay. You are the queen of duct tape. I'll take your word on that. When you keep everything on the floor, you never lose anything. I lose everything, including my mind. Duct tape fingers fixes everything. Hey, I've duct taped a lot of wounds that I probably should have gone to the hospital for. Let's be honest for like 4 seconds. All right. Let's close that. No way. No way. That's still kind of wide, though, isn't it? I don't like that. Yeah. All right, so we'll do 1.5 inches from each side there. And we'll try to do another 45 somewhere down here. Let's see. Yes, and agreed. Me, you was right. Keep everything on the floor. If anything falls up, someone can take it down. Yeah, I really need to get this shop and get rid of a lot of shit. I know. So let's try and not lose any fingers right now. Yep, yeah, sure. And there we can do another 45. Let's do this. We'll just finish this off with a handsaw. It'll look good enough. We're fine. Let's see. See that? Easy peasy. I use the forge, the forge here as a brace. There's my Japanese saw. It's over there. And this is what happens when I'm always in a rush. Actually, it's probably easier if I can see where the marks where I'm cutting. What's the project? The project is making a mobile smithy. Right now I'm working on, right now I just need to make the forge part of the mobile smithy. Probably use the coarse teeth for this, yeah. And sounds like a fun project. It is. Especially because I get to take this out into the public. I get to do demonstrations. Hopefully I can start taking this to schools and stuff and, showing kids some forging stuff. So that way, if anyone is actually interested, they can have a much more better understanding of things and have a better start on things than I had. Which my start on this was pretty rough. There we go there. So now I'm going to grind in 2 holes over here because I like to do put a loop through and then a loop around and have the string coming up through the hole. So that way I'm not worried about anything else and it's very easy to take down. I show you on the last one, but actually it's right on top here. Something similar to this. So I could have the, put the loop around the string and then having it coming up and through. So with that, let me grab a Forstner bit. I don't need a super big hole. Because it's either going to be for a piece of paracord or a piece of cable. Still not sure yet on which I'm going to use. I might have enough to do cable, which would be ideal because then I don't have to worry about any flexation or anything else, but I had a 3/4 bit right here. Right here. I should use this too. Doesn't need to be 3/4, no. You know what we're going to do? We're going to say screw it. This will be big enough, especially at least for this show. Why is that wandering? Not bad. Sounds like a fun project. You were very kind. Wood frame forges is kind of underrated. I used one for a while before making one out of steel. You know what? I've only had wood frame forges. You can see the solid fuel forge in the back there. That's wood frame. That's been in this shop here for what, 3 years, 4 years now, and haven't had a problem. I had one at my parents' house for like 5 or 6 years that I used on a regular basis, no problem. This one I used a couple times already, no problem. People get very touchy about wooden fire, but as long as you're not an idiot, and most forges historically were made mostly out of wood, especially mobile smithies and stuff like this is. They were all wood. That's what they used. That's what it is. So, anyways, let's get this attached. We're a little bit past time. So then, unfortunately, I'm going to let you all go after this. And I didn't even warm up my glue, which I really should have. Oh, I got to grind this first. Let's do that. Because once I have it attached, it's going to be a nightmare. Can I see everything over there? Not really. Anyways, we'll just grind this off screen real quick, I guess. Because I'm just putting 2 little indents on the side of this. That's all. Good enough. So we got this and this. Boom. Boom. Boom, boom, boom. I want you in my room. That guy. I had glue yesterday. I was using it quite extensively for stuff. There it is. And this is why I should never really be left alone. All right, what do you guys have to say before we do this? See you later, Chris. Look forward to the next one. Nice bellows. That'll put out a lot of air. Right? And keep your stick on the ice. All right, Jen, well, you take care. I am just about done here. And it's all be going soon anyways. But yes, this should put out quite a bit of air. It's what? 22 inches wide by 48 inches long. And the top lung is about, oh, not even looking the right way. The top lung is about 33 inches at the back from the center. And the bottom it's smaller. So it didn't hang down. So it's going to take more pumps to fill the top. And that's intentional. But we'll measure the bottom here in just a second for you. It'd probably help if I grab some screws too. And like I said, if you want to see this live, finished in action, I'm going to be at Eckley's Mining Village next weekend, Saturday and Sunday for their show. And then I'm doing another show the following week on Sunday in Clark Summit in front of Curl Up and Die. It's a hair salon type of thing. And we don't need to be perfect here. Because good enough is good enough. Remember, perfect is the enemy of done. So we're not trying for perfect, we're trying for done. Perfect can come next year. And this is getting glued and screwed with so many screws on such a wide base because this is a very high stress point area. One more. Okay, and this bottom bellows is what? What is that? 21 inches. So smaller than the top lung, but this should give me plenty of air to work with at the shows and such. And I really like double lung bellows because, one, they look really impressive. So it's very good for showmanship. Two, while they look very complex, they're not. And three, it's a gravity system, so it doesn't have to be powered the entire time by pumping like a box bellows would, or their bag bellows. So it does make a lot of sense to have a double lung bellows. Now you can overcome some of those things by adding a third, a secondary or tertiary apparatus, which you would fill up from the bottom, so your box bellows could fill something up, and then gravity could push that out. Or same thing with the bag bellows. You could have that fill up a third bladder that is then gravity fed. This does all of that. So they're a lot simpler, a lot less complex, and they look very impressive. So yeah, they're 3/4. The flappers are 4-inch square, and they're made out of 3/4, and they have a leather lining on them just to help it seal a little bit better. And the membrane for the bellows themselves, I got at Home Depot. It is canvas polycloth, which is just, linen that is plasticized on one side. I use that for the main bellows here in my forge, and it works very well. It has worked very well for years. So this should work very well for at least a year. Anyways, that's my show for this week, guys. I probably won't have one next week. If I do, it'll just be me talking for like 10 minutes or 15 minutes, or trying to finish up a few projects to take out to Eckley's Mining Village, because those shows start at 11, and that's like an hour drive for me. So we'll see about that. So now I need to find some way to make legs, back legs for this guy. And then I need to get this flipped over and get everything mounted on the inside, because there's still piping for the tuyere. I have the forge sitting up there, the fire pot, which goes in this hole. So I need to get those legs done, flip it over, and build the crank mechanism. Anyways, guys, that's my show for the week. Thanks for watching. I appreciate it. I appreciate you. And hopefully I see you at these shows. If not, thank you for making this world better. I'll care for time, and I'll see y'all later.